What's good, y'all? I was just jumping on to do some backtesting today. My last backtesting video did kind of well, so I assume you guys want to see some more of this. I'm not gonna lie, this last week was rough. If you were trading, bro, NQ was in the trenches. We had some clean draws, but we were just not delivering nicely, especially for someone like me. I'm trading continuation. I'm looking for clean price action. So this was just some bullshit for my strategy, bro. Like, especially being in my time zone and waking up like 5:30 every day to jump on the charts and waking up that early just to sit through 2 hours of bullshit every morning, bro, kind of sucks. So I won't lie. Sometimes it's nice after a long week to jump on backtest and just kind of give yourself that confidence again. Of course, I'm not rich, even though I make money from trading now. I'm still not perfect. I can always learn, and chart time is going to help me. So this is going to help me. Hopefully, you guys can learn something from this, and it'll help you since I would consider myself profitable. Hopefully, if you're unprofitable, then you can learn something from this. I'm guessing if you're profitable, you're not watching someone backtest. So, like I said, hopefully you can learn something from this. We are going to jump on ChatGPT here. Oh, by the way, with my strategy, I'm not really taking that many trades. So, like the last video, I put timestamps of the days that I did take trades on. So, if you just want to watch the days that I took trades on, those will be timestamped in the description. So, you can just go straight to those because this one, to being a long video, like the last one, again, I'm not going to cut out much. Once I actually start backtesting, I'm probably going to try and make no cuts in the video. We'll try and have like probably 30 minutes of raw footage just to show you guys that I'm not being fake. I'm not being a fake guru with this. I'm trying to actually show you guys my thought process and what I'm thinking. So off camera, I told it to pick a random month, 1 through 12, just a couple times to see, like, make sure it was working, whatever. And it kept saying June, so I don't know if it's like messed up. But we are going to do 2024 this time. We did 2025 for the last video, so we'll do 2024. And we're just going to have it pick a random month, 1 through 12, or pick a random number, 1 through 12, and we'll do the corresponding month just because it was being weird earlier. So we get 7, which is going to be July. So we're going to come on to a new session here, and this is going to be for the backtesting video. And we are going to do a $50,000 balance. I like to be practical with my back testing. See, some people put in like outrageous balances that just don't make sense. Like, I want it to be actually based on the data I'm using. 50,000 is the most common funded account balance. So I know I'm trading mostly 50K, so I'm going to do 50K balance. And then we're just going to use NQ. Normally I'd be using NQ and then also ES as like a side thing to check for the way the charts are correlating. But in this case today, we're just going to look at NQ. And then it's my chart here, and we will go, like I said, 2024, and then we're going to go to July for the 1st, and then September. We'll just go to whatever. We're not going to go that far. We're going to try and get through as much as possible. In the last video, I tried to do the whole month, but it just wasn't that interesting because there was really some weak price action. I ended up taking like 3 trades, and there was a lot of chop. So we'll see how this looks. If I'm able to find a lot of good setups, then I will try and get those for you so you can see the actual trades I take. I'll try and get like 3 or 4 trades. At that point, I'll probably stop it. So either when we get to the end of the month or if I take a handful of trades. Normally I'm taking about 2 trades a week, but when you're back testing, obviously it's going to be a little different because I might be missing some things or just seeing different things in versus when I'm live. So really quick to give you guys the rundown. Quick 4 steps of what I'm looking for. We're looking for the most plausible high time frame draw for us to go to. And then step 2 is going to be clean price action toward that draw. Step 3 is going to be a retrace. We want to not be entering at the top or the bottom of the trend. If we're looking for continuation, we want to retrace. And then we also want a small invalidation of the trend. So we know that it's the retrace is not a total reversal, but just a retrace before continuing in the same direction. So, all right, we are going to get started now. At this point, I'm going to try and do no more cuts if I made any in the intro. Even so, no more here. We're just gonna get to it. So first thing I'm doing, 6:30 in my time zone, is market open. So I'm always marking out market open, and like I said, first thing we're looking for, higher time frame draws. So first thing I'm noticing here, not gonna lie, this is already kind of choppy. We want a really clear draw. Like I practically want the trades to jump out at me. So for this, we have these lows on the 4-hour. I'm gonna come back to the 1-hour here. We have these highs as well as these highs. We did already tap into this gap, so I don't know if this is like an ideal target, but I'm guessing longs do look better than shorts to me here. Like we have this 4 hour below. We came into it once, rejected, came all the way back down into it, started rejecting it again. We're back here. I would imagine we start just trending higher. But like I said, this is kind of choppy. I don't really love this range, so I'm not expecting too much out of this. But yeah, higher would be my first expectation. Maybe high up to here. I don't really love this as a target because we have this fair value gap this is inside of. Same with this one here. So let's just see. We'll go on the 5 minute here. We have, okay, Powell speech off open, it looks like. So interesting. All right, one more 5 minute. This isn't super clean just because I don't love this closure, but honestly, like, this is starting to trend kind of nicely. If we got a nice like retrace into this gap and rejection out, all right, that's exactly what I was saying. Low-key, this doesn't look bad for longs. As I said, I didn't love this range, but I guess we're kind of starting to come out of it. Like, we're targeting sort of the top of this little range, but like on the 15 minute, we're super bullish. We already came through this hard, and then 5 minute closed above, and then here, sorry, I didn't show it nicely. There, 5 minute closed above here. Not an amazing closure, but like if we come down to the 1 minute, tap back in this gap, rejection out. In terms of stop loss, maybe just set it at this here, and then we'll long this. This is kind of ambitious, especially on the first day. I don't want to start us off with an L, but this doesn't look terrible for longs. Let's just see. Okay, yeah, this one did play. Nice little trade there. Oh, I did take that with a really low size, I'm not going to lie. So $500. I guess we're on 50K, so not super low. But all right, we'll move on to the next day here. On the 15 minute again, we're marking out the open. Looks like we've got some red folder news at 7 to take note of. So in terms of target for this one, I'm seeing this fair value gap that hasn't been tapped into. It's also a 4 hour gap. So I'm imagining that we already took out this high. We probably want to come into this gap before going higher. Let's see. This might be all-time highs. Yeah, okay, so we are at all-time highs. So low-key, we could either push up a little bit and then want to come toward this gap for a trade, or if we tap nicely into this gap and start pushing higher, then we could look for longs. In terms of lower draws, I guess we have this here, but I'm not really looking for us to come all the way down here. If we are trending nicely toward it, I mean, I don't mind targeting it, but this is the main thing we're looking for. Otherwise, we just want to come start going to these all-time highs. So let's go to the 5 minute. I'm guessing we take this off open. All right, we didn't. Let's see. 5 minute is not moving super clean. Did we? Okay, that's the 7 o'clock news. Not moving great here. Let's see. Kind of choppy, but we are starting to come up toward this high, which is all-time highs, so I do like that. I wanted us to come down into that gap first before coming up, but let's see. Okay, we are like breaking out of this range. We still got like 70 points, but we started breaking out of this range, came into this gap. Let's see if this next 5 candle rejects. Okay, at this point, I would imagine we are definitely coming up to those highs. I want to see just a little bit of a retrace before entering long here. Let's see if we even get that. Okay, starting to retrace. We're already hitting 830, so at this point, I'd be hesitant. But let's see if we get a nice, peep the 5 minute here. Look at this rejection into this gap. We're looking really bullish up to all-time highs. You know, we are inherently bullish, so if we get a nice rejection out of this gap and then like 1 minute closes like over here somewhere, we would want to look for something like longs up to these highs, and then our stop loss would rest probably on the bottom of this leg wherever this ends up stopping. So we'll just put it here for now, but we'll see what happens. So do we start? Okay, we did start kind of rejecting. I don't love we're losing volume here, but I feel like this draw is really clear. Look at that. It looks nice on the 5 minute, the way we rejected this. We're just going to put our stop loss. We can tighten it up. I don't want to leave it too tight because this is only 15 points. And then our TP would be at those all-time highs. But we don't really, like, reasonably, it doesn't make sense for us to come way down here because we've already tapped in this gap it looks like we filled like even like up to 50% of it, and then we're starting to reject. Look at that 5 minute candle, boom. It just doesn't make sense for us to come much lower. So I'm gonna imagine that we can just leave our stop loss. We'll put it at this wick just to be safe, and then TP of course at those highs. We might be able to risk like 2 minis on this. Yeah, that's 650 is good risk for a 50K, I would say, for my strategy. And we'll go break even at these highs here. We don't want to go break even like down at these internal highs because it's just too close to the entry. So let's see. Holy chop. All right. So at this point, we're going to go break even. And yeah, at this point, I would imagine we just deliver. Like I said, we already came in these gaps. We'll peep the 15-minute. Yeah, even tap that 15-minute gap nicely. We're rejecting. We shouldn't come back, so that's why we're going to go break even. I mean, if we start rejecting lower at this point, I mean, we just can't expect that. We have all-time highs above. I would imagine that's the target. So looks like we're going to deliver here. Okay, yeah, started slowing down, but we did deliver to all-time highs. So that's nice. First trade was not a ton of size, but not an ideal trade either. So already 2-0. Honestly, I might not have to go through the whole month. If we are able to catch a few dubs here, then I can just quit. Okay, yeah, this day is July 4th. I saw this and assumed we might have a bank holiday or Powell or something, and then yeah, it is July 4th. So I'll show you the price action here. I mean, if you look, like, really, okay, actually, I was assuming it to be really choppy. It's really not that bad. Like, we're coming lower, but if you look, we started at 20,400. We're only down to 20,380, so 30 minutes of open, we've only moved 20 points. Like, this isn't ideal. We don't really want to be trading bank holidays. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, power to you. If you find something within this and you take a dub and it's part of your system, good for you. But for me personally, I am going to be sleeping right through this day. So, all right, back to the 15-minute, marking out this open again. First thing I'm seeing is it looks like we had a fat news candle here. So we haven't taken out the high or the low of this news candle. So we've got, let's see. Honestly, those would just be my 2 draws mainly for the day. I don't really expect us, like, I guess we could come down to this, but I don't really see this as a clean draw. Like, we're just tapping into this gap, rejecting. We are at all-time highs. We're looking super bullish right now. So I imagine we're not even going to come down to this here. If we do start trending toward it on like a 5 or 15 minute, then it would look nice. But like, we're rejecting out of these gaps, starting to push higher. We are, like I said, all-time highs here, nothing to the left. So we are inherently bullish. I'm imagining we're just pushing higher. I don't really want to just long into nothing up here because we are extended super high. But again, all-time highs, we want to come higher. So we'll just see what we get out of this first 5-minute candle. Okay, I don't really love this like wick, but doesn't look terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, hold on, hear me out. 5-minute, like, I'm imagining that these are our 2 targets. We want to definitely take out one of these draws. Once we start coming toward a draw like this for news, we'll see. We're only 18 points away at this point. Like, when we've come up to here, this other news draw, 105 points, I would just imagine that this is going to be the next draw before we come all the way down here. Once we take this out, we are at all-time highs, so I imagine we push higher, but we could still come down to that. But like I said, at this point, I don't really think we're going to come lower. So honestly, 5-minute looks good. This might have been the retrace we needed. If we get one more like nice candle to come up to here, I can imagine we would long this. Stop loss would be like on these body lows. Let's see. Okay, honestly, not bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to take longs here, low-key up to this, and then we will put our stop loss. Okay, hold on. I would want to have this gap covered, but this is low-key a 1-to-1. So ideally, we would want slightly better R on this, but I think we want to give it some room because we do have like this gap that might form below. Maybe we could like condense the risk after we start pushing higher, but this looks fine. We'll place this. Definitely gonna go 1 contract on this. I don't want to risk $1,000 here for a 50K. We'll risk 500, and TP is gonna be at that news high. Hopefully we deliver nicely. Okay, so normally we'd be going break even after we sweep out the internal high, which is here, but 8 points in, I kind of want to see just a little bit more volume. Okay, at this point we'll definitely go break even. Would we have got break even stopped on this? Low key, look at that, bro. we would have got break even stopped. So glad we did not go break even there. I low-key, there's potential when I would be live trading that I would go break even off this, especially if once we started trading down. I don't know, maybe I would have, but looks like this will deliver. So, oh shit. Okay, hold on. We actually might not get a delivery here. Let's see. If we edge this, that would be crazy, bro. All right, bro. So that's a break even there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it sounded too good to be true. It's been 1 week and I was already in my third trade. So that's a crazy edge. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see. We might just start to deliver to these. Damn, bro. We are rejecting. All right, hold on. We might be able to catch an entry if we start trading really nicely down to the lows. We might be able to see something. So let's go back to the 5 minute here. Okay, that rejects. We might take out the highs. All right, nice. Unfortunate on this one. The way we edged this and then peep the 5 minute. Damn, I should have low key once we rejected that crazy. Let's hold on. That was at 6:45. Maybe off of like this candle, I could have tried to long up to those all-time highs. At this point, it's low-key too late, but we're probably going to deliver off this next candle here. Yeah, okay. So that would have been the method, low-key, maybe once we retrace. I didn't really want to catch a re-entry, but off of this, when we're starting to reject, we edge these crazy. This is all-time highs. So this would have been the play, but we're a little too ambitious skipping through those candles. But this probably would have been the play. I don't really love putting my stop loss there. Actually, honestly, the stop loss could have gone at these like body lows. So maybe never mind. This could have been the trade. This could have been the method, but unfortunately, we did not catch that. So that's the reality. You're not going to get everything in hindsight, or people always say hindsight is 20/20. It's really easy after the fact to try and see all the trades you would have taken, but not what we're doing today. So are we? Damn, bro, we at all-time highs again. This shit is just not stopping. So I imagine that we would want some sort of retrace at some point. So I'm gonna have these marked out. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have these marked out. Like I said, I want us to retrace eventually, but if we just keep pushing higher, I guess I'm not opposed to longing into this. I don't really like longing into nothing, honestly, but if we're just going higher, then we're going higher. So we have this gap. I'm gonna mark this out as well. I wonder if this is gonna hold. If this holds nicely and we close up here, like 15 minute, 5 minute closes nicely above all these, we might just want to long up into the all-time highs or above all-time highs. So let's see. Like I said, I kind of want to retrace, but we'll just see how this gap holds and then go from there. So okay, first 5 minutes, we are sort of rejecting that gap, but instantly there's a lot of volume here and we're kind of like chopping. Let's see the next 5 minutes. Okay, the next 5 minutes took out that first low, almost the second low, but not a super clean wick off this one. Unless we start coming up here or just start dumping, I don't really think I'm going to be able to catch anything off this, because off this chop, like... Alright, hold on. We did get a tap into this gap. It's really choppy, but I low-key think... Okay. Definitely not going lower off this. Hold on, back to the 5 minute here. Holy rejection. Alright, off of this candle... Alright, hold on. I gotta slow down here. Okay, this is just not ideal. I'm probably not trading this, but now I would imagine we're coming down to at least this next low. Let's just peep this. Let's see if there's anything here, but yeah, I'm not trading this, bro. But like, this range is wicked, bro. All right, at this point we're done. I don't like the way this is moving at all. Like this 5 minute is just so like. This is even worse than a choppy 5 minute to me. Like, obviously this is choppy, but I'm talking like no volume. Like this is getting random, like long wicks. We don't want to see that because that's just a recipe for getting ticked out of a position we don't want to be out of. So we're just done with that. Not clean. It's really easy when you're backtesting to avoid bad trades because you can see it like that. But like something like that, even live time, you can just tell like that is not good PA to be a part of. So we don't want to be in that. We're going to just click off. So this one, I'm already seeing this like range. I don't like this chop here. In terms of draws, we have that 1 hour down there. Let's peep the 4 hour. All right, nice. My FX replay constantly be stopping on the 4 hour. Like it'll just not load the 4 hour, so I gotta reset it. All right, back to it. Let's see, 4 hour here. Did we take? Okay, we did take this out. So we'll see if we hold this gap. In terms of the hourly, We haven't yet come down into this gap here, but we might hold this gap and just push higher because we are at all-time highs. So we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I don't love this chop, but we're gonna maybe play a few here. Let's see. Okay, so we do go back up to those highs. Let's see, 5 minute. What is this news? We have, okay, Powell's testifying. Powell's speeches always be wicked, but if he's just testifying, like, normally we don't have a ton of volume, like, right off that. Obviously, we still could, and I know, like, if you see a Powell day, you might just not trade, but just because, like, if he's testifying, we're not necessarily going to see a bunch. Like, let's see. Yeah, the 7 a.m. candle, bro. You wouldn't even know. If you, like, peep this, bro, you would not even know. 15 points, we chilling. So, this is looking choppy, though. We don't love this, but... All right. I don't like this chop, and I don't want to trade out of this range, but this 5 minute looks like we're going to start pushing lower. Okay. Off this 5 minute, I would imagine we're coming down here. Okay. I don't really love this wick. I would think that we want to come into, like, higher into this gap, but we did already tap into it and then start rejecting. So this looks good, but like I said, like, we're coming out of this range. Hold on, let me peep the 15 minute hourly. This just isn't super clean. I don't know what it is, but just like the way we're in this range, I just didn't love this PA. I mean, we're starting to come out of it, but maybe I want to see a bigger rejection. Like, this is only 16 points. Like a 1-to-1 off this, maybe I might just have to take it for the video for the fun. But, like, again, we're in this gap here. We might just reject off this. Hold on. I guess the 5 minute did close down here, but this isn't a super clean wick. But then, like, to tap into this gap and then coming lower. Hold on. We'll try this just one contract just for the video. Let's see. Okay, yeah, did deliver off the first point here. I guess this looks pretty clean. Like I said, hindsight is easy to look at, but look at this 5 minute. Looks like we're coming lower. I didn't really love these gaps to the left, but definitely not a terrible trade here. I imagine we continue lower off of this. Okay, I kind of was right. Definitely, okay, just some chops. So, all right, not ideal here, but a win is a win, so we're going to keep moving. Another part of my system enough. So, all right, I feel like I took a break. Yeah, we took a brutal break even on that news trade. So we're 3-1. I might just try and catch one more trade. It's only been a week and a half, and we've already taken 4 trades. So feels like this is high frequency. I'm not gonna lie, July 2024, do not remember. I feel like I have a good memory, but this is a little far back for me, so definitely don't remember what exactly how the PA was here. So, all right. First thing, 4 hour, again, we're at all-time highs, extended pretty high, but we did get quite the retrace off this and started rejecting it. So I would imagine that all-time highs is the first goal. We have, again, Powell's testifying, but, like, was it just yesterday that I said it doesn't really matter? Like, it does matter, obviously, but it wasn't crazy volume. So in terms of higher time frame, I'm guessing we go higher. We do have this gap below. Ideally, I kind of would want to see like a tap into this gap, rejection, and then boom, all-time highs, because all-time highs is a beautiful draw for us. So we'll go to the 5 minute here. We might just insta take out all-time highs. Okay, didn't. We tap into the gap. Let's see if we push all the way through it or if we reject off of that. Okay, damn. So we do edge this crazy. I'm not going to lie. I could definitely catch an entry down to this low here, which is also a gap. Let's peep the 4 hour. What is it? Yeah, it's also a 4 hour gap. Definitely could be potential for an entry here. I don't love this 5 minute close, but look at the way we edge this. If we like get a nice fat retrace and then start dumping, we could find something in here. So, boom. Okay, holy reversal. So definitely not perfect here. I don't love the way we edge stuff, because when we edge something, obviously I'm motivated to want to look toward that as my draw, but it's not like we're really, I don't know, this isn't like a super clean draw. Like, it is just a gap at the end of the day. It's an hourly draw, but 4 hour, it's just a gap. So in terms of 5 minute, we could definitely catch some longs here if we retrace and then get a rejection out of this. This range isn't perfect, but peep the 15 minute. The way we tapped all of this, rejected, 5 minute starts like rejecting this move. this could low-key be an entry. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I didn't realize we're only 13 points away, so not ideal. In terms of stop loss too, like we have this potential gap forming below, so I don't really know. Our stop would have to go here. Not super duper clean on this, but it looks like, I mean, if we peep the hourly though, this really looks like the better draw. 4 hours really bullish. Maybe we just want a bigger retrace. Like honestly, what time is it? Okay, it's 6:48. If we have 7 o'clock news, even though it's just Powell's testifying, I generally don't like to enter within 10 minutes of news because I want to give the trade a chance to play. So if it's like 6:49, 6:50, if I'm not catching an entry before that, then I'm just waiting until after news. But we'll try this one just for the sake of it. We're only risking 480 on this, and TP 530. So let's see. Okay, yeah, nice. First candle did deliver here. Honestly, this is going pretty well. Like I said, the 10th, and we're already like 24-35 profit. Pretty solid. We had, I think, 4 wins now and 1 break even. I'll try and catch one more trade just for the video. Maybe we'll catch a L so you guys can see that I definitely do lose. Don't get it twisted. I definitely lose a lot, so don't worry. But obviously, trading a continuation low frequency strategy, you're generally gonna have a higher win rate unless you just have a crazy R. But in this case, I do have a pretty high win rate, so I'm gonna be winning, of course, more than I lose. But I do take losses, so I want to show you guys what a good loss looks like as well. So maybe we'll see one. But I'm gonna do one more trade for sure, and then we'll call it from there. So 4 hour. Okay, first thing I'm noticing, it looks like we have equal lows and this gap here. Yeah, so that looks like a pretty strong draw, but again, we're near all-time highs. I did mark out the all-time highs of this, so 4 hour looks like we want to come for this. The way we're rejecting off this and then the all-time highs, like we're coming down way far. I would imagine we want to come into this gap next before pushing back above all-time highs again. So that's kind of the idea, but we're really close to this gap already. I mean, we're still 40 points away, I guess, so I don't know if we're going to be able to catch an entry to this. So let's see. First 5 minute, I don't really like that wick to go lower. That's a good candle for lower. Hold on. Okay, these candles are wicked. I'm not gonna lie, these candles are not good here, but like what's this range? This is like a 28-point range. Like, look at these wicks on these. I don't love this, but just off the 5 minute, this looks kind of clean to go short, and this is a strong draw. Like, I really like this draw. So almost off of the 5 minute, I might try and bang this. But hold on, I want to catch a good trade here. So okay, yeah, didn't take this one. Not really a super clean entry, but like that draw was so clean. So I guess maybe I could have entered off this rejection, but I didn't like this range, and I don't want to force something just for this. So probably would have avoided that. And then at this point, let's see. I really just wanted that 4 hour gap as my draw. I would probably hop off after that got taken out, unless we started getting some clean PA. So I'm going to mark out those 1 hour lows, and then we also tapped in this gap. I don't really love the idea of like shorting into this, but if we come all the way down here, I guess, and we're moving really clean, we could definitely catch something. Or the other option is, like I said, if we reject out of this gap, we could come up to these all-time highs. So the way this is coming down, though, I'm imagining we want to get a little bit of a retrace here. So, all right. Okay, damn. All right, this thing is dumping. We are coming below this, and a 5 minute closure below this is what we like. We do have a couple more gaps to the left. 15 minutes. This isn't like the cleanest driver, but this downward price action, this shit is just dumping. So low key at this point, we're 50 points away. Let's see if we can get like a retrace and then a nice candle down for a short here. Okay, there is no, yeah, okay. I guess we'll mark out this as well, because we are just like moving here. At this point though, I don't really love looking for, like, here's the thing, when you're shorting, when we take out liquidity, the whole point of us marking out like liquidity and like liquidity sweeps and that shit is at every liquidity sweep, there's like a chance that we could reject. So once we've taken out, like, we've come through this gap, but we took out this, there's a handful of like hourly draws that we've taken out. At this point, like, I don't really want to try and hit like ones that are so far down, because there's so many opportunities for us to start rejecting. Like, once we're that far down, you know, people might start whatever. But if we're getting really good downward 5 minute candles, 15 minute candles, like, we just want to push lower. Like the way we're closing nicely below this, let's see. Yeah, and then another one. Like this just really seems to want to come lower off this. Honestly, decent retrace. Hopefully, this 5 minute closes and then retrace up into one of these. Then a rejection. We could definitely catch a short here. So we're gonna come to the 1 minute because I don't want to. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Boom. Okay, looks like we retraced that gap, and then a small rejection here. We'd probably want to see a little bit more of a. I would say we want to kind of come through this more. So in terms of 5 minute, like we could definitely retrace higher, but if we get a nice like inversion of this gap, that would probably be the entry. Okay, so see, we did come higher. I'm glad I didn't enter into that because like I said, we definitely have potential to push higher. So now I still like this 5 minute. Unfortunately, this 15 minute doesn't look amazing for shorts, but let's go back to the 5 minute here. At this point, 7:30. It's not too bad if we reject. Okay, boom. Okay, off this, I would say this is clean. That was a crazy rejection. Rejecting all of this move and then the 1 minute coming down, inverting this gap. TP, decent TP. 57. In terms of stop loss, so I know I've been going at the body lows, but on something like this, 50 points, we have already rejected this gap, so I would imagine we don't come back to this gap. This stop loss is a little too tight, so I would think maybe the gap is a good stop loss. But we do have this 1 minute here, so maybe this is probably safer. This is a reasonable stop, but this is probably the safest stop. 1.5R looks good. I'm going to place this order. 735. This is a good trade. If we lose this here, then you guys see if I lose. If I win this, then I guess we went undefeated in the video. So fingers crossed, moment of truth. Let's see. By the way, we're gonna go. Actually, I was gonna say maybe go break even at this here, but we're only 15 points deep. We'll just see kind of what we look like. Okay. All right. Not gonna lie, after this, I'd probably have to go break even because we've already dumped so much. The volume's starting to slow down a little bit. We're getting decent volume, but come up into profit, 26 points. Maybe just, I guess I could maybe just change the risk to these, but I don't know. I'd probably just go break even at this point, and I would want to be making sure I'm not risking too much on this. So, oh, damn. All right, so took out a break even on this. Damn, this is a rough candle. It looks like we're gonna reject out of this, but we might be stopping here. Let's see. It would be unfortunate if we just dump off this. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna call it there. A little bit of a break even. That's like the only thing I was saying. Like I said, is maybe I want to watch us trade lower. But even at this point, like once we were down here closing, I would probably be break even. So very unfortunate break even on this last one because this would have played. But it is what it is. You know, you got to stay true to your rules. All right. If you did make it to the end of the video, I appreciate you for watching. Like I said before, sometimes, you know, we have rough weeks. This week was definitely a rough one for a lot of people. I saw a lot of people struggling. So it can be great to get on, backtest, and remind yourself that you're not a bad trader. Your system's not bad. Sometimes the weeks are just rough. So this was definitely a great example of this. And look at, you know, I already feel better. Jumped on, got pretty much 100% win rate. I think we caught 1 or 2 break evens on this. So not bad. And I hope you learned something from this. And I, again, really appreciate you if you made it through the end. And I've been appreciating the support recently. So thank you so much for watching my videos. And hopefully you got some free sauce. And good luck with your trading.